Ow. Ladies and gents, it's back, RX-7 FC GXL. However, Eric, the owner, has made some additional modifications and this car drives even better than before. Things like additional bracing. He's actually lightened the weight by 100 pounds. It was already very light at 2750, now it's 2650. Things like removing the rear windshield wiper, tow hooks, lighter weight battery, interior components. Actually, the exhaust was 58 pounds stock, and he made a custom titanium exhaust, which is only 8 pounds. We saved 50 pounds just from the exhaust alone, which is wild. We've changed to now RT615 tires, 225 section width in all 4 corners. DTSS, which is a bushing in the rear that helps straighten the car, but adds a little bit of like uncertainty when you're cornering hard. That's been disabled. He actually redid the bushings on the entire rear end, the diff, the subframe, etc. He removed the hydraulic power steering. Now it is a manual steering rack only. Cusco 1.5 LSD. And the final drive has been changed from 4.1 to 4.88. That's a huge difference. Now, if you guys want to see how the car handles previously, check out this video up here, where it was already tastefully modified and it was a lot of fun in the Malibu Canyons. And today we're testing out this new updated form. Eric's a great guy, very much appreciate him. He does great stuff with his cars. He has RX-7 FD, FC, and an S2000 as well. Now, one thing to keep in mind here, these are aftermarket seats. They are really like, they really match the style and the era of this vehicle, but the hard thing is I can't push it back further than this. So look at how bent my knee is right now with my foot on the brake. So not an ideal driving position, but a very simple, purpose-built, old-school interior, which we love. Momo wheel, manual rack. Let's let it rip. Very heavy steering, especially when you're going slow, because again, manual rack. All right. 8,000 RPM redline. Gotta love that. Yeah, I remember last time it was kind of floaty. It was a little bit more whimsical. It feels definitely sharper now. A lot sharper. That's what, almost a 20% increase, not quite, in the final drive. That alone is making this feel a lot more peppy. Oh, brakes are really nice and solid. The initial travel, like the first inch or so when you push the brakes, nothing really happens. And then after that, you get that good, solid, very gradual and progressive feel that you want when you're pushing in the canyons. I love this, man. So old school. So old school. Oh yes, the manual rack, as you guys would expect, super unfiltered. You get so much information, the feedback, as well as the loading up. As I'm braking and getting into a corner, the front wheels are really talking quite a bit, telling me what's going on. Now the car's still pretty low on power, so you know, trying to rotate the car, you can't really do it unless you're well over 4,000 RPM. You gotta remember, rotaries, they really need to be wound out because they have very little torque. Oh, but they're so smooth. Yeah, my heel toe is definitely suffering based on the seating position. Oh, yes. Oh, look at how that steering wheel just loads up. Ow. Hit my knee on the thing. The throttle response is really immediate though, and like the engine revs so freely because it's a rotary that rev matching is not a problem. You just need a very brief blip of the throttle. Oh, great brakes. The chassis rigidity, you can tell, is increased from that prior video. Remember, this is several decade-old chassis technology, so the additional bracing goes a long way in tightening things up. Oh, yes. Teeny bit of understeer right there, but I was going in a little bit hot. There we go. See, getting rotation on throttle is now a lot easier because previously we had an open diff. But now with the 1.5 LSD, oh yes. All right, let's turn this bad boy back around. Oh my God, I love a good manual rack. But keep in mind, the steering ratio is still a little bit slower. And the steering doesn't feel super tight. It's giving you a lot of feedback, right? So I talk about 4 things when it comes to steering: the weighting, the ratio, the accuracy, and the feedback. And now the weighting is nice and heavy because it's a manual unassisted rack. Granted, when you're going slow, it's gonna feel extra heavy, but when you're driving up to speed, it feels fantastic. The accuracy is, you know, it's an older car. The feedback is great. The ratio is quite slow. But you can just see this thing chattering in my hands over these bumps, and I love that. Gotta love the pops and bangs. It's vehicles like these that I love to drive and see them evolve. You know, seeing the car, driving it, what was it, 6 months ago versus now, you can see the improvements. They've really come alive and take this car to that next level. So, the thing I love about cars like this is you see, you start with this platform, and if there's a decent chassis and a decent bones to the vehicle, decent starting position, even with the engine and such, then you can really treat it as a canvas and create what you want. And if you're a driving enthusiast like Eric clearly is, then you can make some really special vehicles. I mean, this thing is just so much fun on these canyon roads. Now, going uphill, you do definitely feel the lack of torque. Although when you do ring it out, it's not terribly slow. It's still a balanced vehicle at the end of the day. You got to remember, like, the whole experience. It's an older vehicle, so you're not expecting it to you know, have a B58 engine and just like pull super hard at all areas. I love when a car just feels cohesive and all the various elements work together. The engine, the sound, the chassis, the suspension, the steering, everything just feels dialed in and feels right. That's when you can reach that state of driver flow. Now, going back to the other inputs, the transmission, it actually feels decently tight and notchy, but not too much so. It feels period correct, you know what I mean? Like, this is an older vehicle. It's not super sharp and tight. It's decently tight, it's nimble, it's fun, it has character. And the transmission doesn't really grab your attention. You know, the throws, they're not terribly long, they're actually nice, decently tight, it's notchy. The clutch is a little bit, you know, a little bit light and loose. But I very much enjoy driving this car. This is what happens when you take a fun vehicle and you have someone like Eric here in the S2000 working their magic on it. It's a shame that I think a lot of people will never get to experience a car like this. Manual steering, rotary engine, very raw, old school experience. What a joy. Big thanks to Zygreen for making this review possible. Big thanks to Eric for letting me review his car. Much love, my friends. Subscribe if you haven't already. If you want your car reviewed, visit jubbalandcars.com, and I'll see you all in the next one. Oh yeah, check out these seatbelts too. Old school, super cool.